I just opened up this EHang GhostDrone 2.0 VR drone. Love the thing. Wanted to show you some video that it made. When you first use the device, you have to start out with a mode called Touch and Go, which relies on you to touch various places on a Google map that are not very far away, and the drone moves from one of these points to the next. And so that's how I started out here. If you can remember how pathetic Valley View looked back when you lived around here, now you can see what's left of it, just pavement where the building used to be. So it's a perfect training site for flying a drone. Here I am behind the old location of the Cortland Bank building, looking west, and the old Giant Eagle, now called Sparkle Market, is in the distance. For this flight, I just sent the drone up in the air and then I told it to land. I did have it take a look around before I let it come down. Had a soft landing on the second flight too. Next flight, I did some point-to-point mode stuff and had a pretty nice landing. Going towards Sparkle Market. Then to the back of the parking lot. I was really worried that the drone wouldn't stop, but it did stop well before the power poles. As it turns out, there's no collision avoidance software, hardware, or any other mechanisms built into the drone to keep you from flying into other objects. I instructed the drone to come back to the home point, which is the point at which it left the ground, right in front of the car. At this point, things got a little windy. I'd say maybe 8 or 10 miles an hour was all. And the drone had a hard time coming down. Had my first crash landing, as you can see. The drone just kept circling the home point, but couldn't center itself over the home point in the wind. It sort of spiraled down. And finally, key rash. After 3 touch and go flights, the app allowed me to do an avatar flight. This is where things got more interesting. You have to hold your iPhone perfectly level, because if you slant it in any direction, the drone goes off in the direction of the slant. Getting used to just how much you need to slant the phone to get so much response is a tricky little thing that took a few flights to get right. At least I got this one right. I got the drone above the trees, looked around the neighborhood, and actually landed the thing without a crash. The highest you're supposed to fly the thing is 400 feet. I'd say for this one it was at about 100 feet, as I recall. I love seeing the propellers at the upper left and upper right of the screen. You've been able to see them all the way through this video. Anyway, after this flight, I got real bold and decided to try a VR mode flight. In other words, with the VR goggles. This was a big mistake because you're looking at the goggles at what the drone is looking at, but you don't exactly know where the drone is, and it's just all too easy for the drone to go out of sight because you're not watching its position, you're just watching what it's looking at. So when I did the VR flight, the drone went over the house and out of my line of sight, and I could still hear it for about 2 seconds, and then the next thing I heard was leaves ripping through the trees, and then the motor conked out, and I thought the drone was dead. And as it turned out, it wasn't. The drone was in great shape, but the battery fell out of it when it hit the trees. We couldn't find the battery at first, but we found it in the front gutter. I plugged it back into the drone, and the drone was in perfect shape and ready for another flight. So here I am back in avatar mode, learning how to control the iPhone delicately enough to have some real control over the drone. I did most of this exercise at a very low altitude so that I wouldn't lose the drone at the top of a tree. You can see you look pretty stupid wearing the VR headset like a crown on your head, but you got to keep it within 3 feet of the iPhone, or you might lose the signal. So anyway, this flight here, everything went okay, no crashes, no damage. I'm going to do avatar mode for the next few flights until I really get used to manipulating the movement and the view direction of the device without the VR goggles. It looks tough to me to use those VR goggles because when you're looking through the VR goggles at what the device's camera is looking at, you tend to lose track of just where the device is, and it may be where you don't want it to be. Anyway, I really like the GhostDrone a lot. Thank you very much, whichever you guys paid for this thing. I really appreciate it. You might let me know who paid for it. I still don't know for sure who did and who didn't. But I'll send you some more videos because I really think this thing makes great pictures.